stop refreshing your bank balance. What you see isn't the full picture. In 2026, a world of instant AI, satellite internet, and lightning-fast communication, why does it still take banks 24 to 48 hours to clear a deposit? It's not just a technical delay, it's part of the system. I'll explain what really happens when your money sits in pending status, and more importantly, who benefits during that wait. Most people imagine the funds are locked in a digital vault, waiting for approval. But while you're staring at a processing screen, those funds are being put to work in industries you never signed up for. Today, I'm opening the door on how institutions handle your account behind the scenes. From here forward, you'll see the system differently. Let's begin. And if you found this eye-opening, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more. It's called float time. The moment you hit send on a deposit, the money leaves the sender's account instantly. But it doesn't arrive in yours for days. Where is it? In that window, your $1,000 is in a shadow zone. It's legally in a state of digital purgatory. But here's the secret. The money isn't just floating, it's working. The bank moves that capital into high-frequency shadow rails. While you're waiting for your balance to update so you can pay your bills, the bank is using that exact same money to generate massive overnight interest for themselves. They call it batch processing, but in reality, it's an institutional heist. They have convinced the world that slow transactions are a technical necessity. But in 2026, transactions are instant. So why are they still holding your cash? Because your patience is their primary source of profit. Think about the scale of this deception. If 1 million people have just $1,000 pending for 24 hours, that is $1 billion of interest-free capital the bank gets to play with every single day. They have built a financial empire on the seconds they steal from you. They aren't just holding your money, they are lending it out to institutional traders at massive overnight interest rates. By the time that $1,000 actually hits your balance, the bank has already squeezed every drop of profit out of it. You provided the fuel, but they kept the energy. This is how the old system stays on top by keeping your money in the slow lane while they drive in the fast lane. They told you the system was slow for your protection. The truth? It's slow for their balance sheet. It's time to look at the playbook they hoped you'd never see. They want you to believe that banking is slow because it's secure. They use words like batch processing and clearing cycles to make it sound like a complex mechanical necessity. But let's look at the reality. We live in an era where billions of data points move across the globe in milliseconds. Your bank isn't using 1970s technology, they just want you to think they are. By maintaining the illusion of a slow system, they create the shadow window. This is a period where your money is legally in a state of, quote, non-existence. It's left the sender, but it hasn't reached the receiver. In this digital purgatory, the bank is the only one who can see the money, and they are using it to balance their own books and settle massive institutional debts without paying a penny in interest to the person who actually owns the cash, you. Let's do the math the banks hope you never calculate. When your $1,000 is pending overnight, the bank moves it into the overnight repo market. This is where banks lend money to each other for 12 to 24 hours at a specific interest rate. While you're sleeping, waiting for your balance to update, your money is out there working 100 times harder than you ever could. It's participating in high-frequency trades and institutional loans. Now, a few dollars of interest might not seem like much to you, but when you multiply that by every customer in the world, you're looking at billions in pure risk-free profit every single year. They aren't just a bank. They are a high-speed trading house using your life savings as their fuel. They keep the gold, and you keep the pending notification. It's time to stop being their fuel. Why don't we question it? Because we've been guided by a psychological trigger, safety. They tell you that waiting is for your protection. They claim these delays are necessary to prevent fraud and verify funds. It's a clever marketing tactic. They've turned a profit-making delay into a service presented as peace of mind. But if you examine the practices of the top 1% of investors, you'll notice something different. They don't wait 24 hours. They use private liquidity networks and direct settlement systems that move capital instantly. The safety checks are the same, but the delay disappears. This shows the wait time isn't really about security, it's about design. If the elite can access instant clearance, why can't you? The truth is simple. The system wasn't built to serve you, it was built to serve itself. So, how do we break the cycle? You need to move your capital into the shadow strategy, the same rails the institutions use to bypass the dinosaur banks. In 2026, we have access to what I call instant settlement ecosystems. These are financial platforms that operate on real-time ledgers. When money moves here, it doesn't pend. It settles. The difference between pending and settled is the difference between being a victim of the system and being a master of your own wealth. By moving your first $1,000 into these rails, you effectively cut the bank's straw out of your drink. You are no longer providing them with an interest-free loan. Instead, you are capturing that quite overnight energy for yourself. This is the first step in reclaiming the wealth that is being drained from your account every single night while you sleep. Here's how it works. Most people spend their entire lives in the slow lane. You work for a month, your paycheck clears for 3 days, and then you pay bills that take another 2 days to process. In a single year, your money is invisible for a total of 60 days. That's 2 months of potential growth stolen by the system. Now imagine moving into the fast lane. In this lane, when you receive a payment, it is available for deployment within 6 seconds. While the rest of the world is waiting for Monday morning for the banks to open, your capital is already compounding in high-yield liquidity pools. The fast lane isn't a dream. It's a specific set of tools that the banks use internally but never offer to the public. Today, we are taking those tools back. We are turning your idle time into active wealth. The core of the shadow strategy is a concept called liquidity mapping. Traditional banks want your money to stay stationary. They want it sitting in a savings account so they can predict their own reserves. But stationary money is dying money. To fight back, you must adopt the flow state of the ultra-wealthy. This means never letting a single dollar sit in a traditional pending environment. By using neo-banking bridges and decentralized settlement layers, you can ensure that your money is always settled. This allows you to move your capital between assets like gold, index trackers, or private credit without the 48-hour tax of the old system. You are essentially creating your own private central bank. No more permission, no more waiting, and no more processing screens. You are finally in control of the speed of your own success. You might think you need $1 million to benefit from advanced financial methods, but that's not the case. In fact, meaningful progress often begins at the $1,000 level. Why? Because small balances are usually overlooked, yet they hold untapped potential. When you apply smart strategies to your first 1,000, you're building a strong foundation for growth. By capturing interest that would otherwise be lost during float time and moving into faster settlement assets, you unlock a compounding effect the traditional system rarely provides. I call this the $1,000 step. Once you move past it using modern settlement pathways, delays become less of a barrier. From that point forward, you're working with a system designed for speed and efficiency. Now, let's explore the practical steps to begin this transition tonight. And if you'd like more insights like this, subscribe to my channel to stay ahead. The top 1% don't use the same plumbing as the rest of society. They use what I call the escape hatch. While you are forced to use the public banking rails, the elite move their wealth through private, high-speed ledgers that operate outside of standard business hours. To them, Sunday at 3:00 a.m. is the same as Tuesday at 10:00 a.m. They've bypassed the close sign on the bank door. This is possible because they utilize direct settlement protocols. These protocols allow two parties to trade value without a middleman holding the funds for verification. By adopting this mindset, you stop treating your money as a static number on a screen and start treating it as love energy. You are no longer waiting for the bank to give you permission to access your own work. You are using the escape hatch they built for themselves. So, how do you actually implement a direct settlement protocol? It starts with non-custodial thinking. In the old system, when you give a bank your money, it technically becomes their asset, and they give you a promise to pay it back. That's why they can hold it in pending status. It's their house, their rules. But in the shadow strategy, we use smart contracts and instant clearinghouses. These tools ensure that the moment a transaction is initiated, the value is transferred and settled simultaneously. There is no middleman to float the cash. In 2026, these tools have become user-friendly enough for anyone with a smartphone. By moving your transactions onto these rails, you are effectively cutting out the toll booth that the traditional banks have operated for centuries. You are finally settling in real time. The banks maintain what is known as a fractional reserve. They only keep a tiny fraction of your money on hand. The rest is out there making them profit. You can flip this script using the ghost reserve strategy. Instead of keeping your emergency fund in a high-yield savings account that barely covers inflation, you move your reserves into liquid liquidity pools. These are digital environments where your money stays 100% liquid, meaning you can spend it instantly, but it earns the same overnight interest that the banks usually keep for themselves. You are essentially becoming the bank. You are providing liquidity to the market and capturing the float as your own revenue. Your $1,000 is no longer a stagnant pool of water. It's a rushing river that generates power every second of the day. There is a second heist happening during that 24-hour pending window, the inflationary tax. Every second your money is stuck in the bank's shadow zone, its purchasing power is being eroded by the global expansion of the money supply. It sounds small, but over a lifetime of pending transactions, you lose thousands of dollars in hidden value. The banks know this. They want your money to stay slow while the prices of assets like gold, stocks, and real estate move fast. By the time your money clears, the asset you wanted to buy is already more expensive. The shadow strategy solves this by ensuring your time to market is zero. You can move from cash to an appreciating asset in one click. You are no longer a victim of the inflationary delay. Everything we've discussed leads to one thing: financial sovereignty. The traditional bank's greatest weapon is the pending button because it keeps you dependent on their timeline. When you reclaim your time, you reclaim your freedom. But there is a reason most people fail when they try to use the shadow strategy on their own. The banks have built hidden tripwires into their terms of service. If you move your money the wrong way, you risk having your accounts flagged or frozen indefinitely. You have the blueprint of the heist, but you don't have the key to the back door yet. I have spent 15 minutes showing you how they steal from you, but in the next video, I am revealing the exact 3 apps and the specific liquid protocol I use to bypass the system safely. The Monday morning checklist starts in part 2. Click the video on the screen right now before the system patches this hole.